Hey everyone, it's Cotty over at the Match Factory. Welcome to Podcast 101. Yes, the last podcast 100 was with Bee and Corrine and myself. We had a great celebration, and now I am going to attempt to try this on my own. So what I don't have a lot of finished objects. I have lots of whips on the go, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take you for a quick tour of the shop. We've got in a few shipments, and I think you'll be pretty interested. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip the camera around as I just sort of move around. And here goes, Podcast 101. Look, folks, I bought a wool store. So I have managed to get in another shipment of needles. The empty spots on the wall are basically the type of needle that's not hugely called for, which is some of the finer needles, and I'll get those a little bit later. I have restocked all of the Chow sets. We had all of that going on. I want to just thank everyone who participated in the no tax Chow event. We were able to get 4 more people on the board with another set of needle sets. So over here, we're going to just take a wander. You're looking at the sock section of the store. We now have some new stitch markers from Firefly Stitch. So we have the Parliament of Owl. You're going to see all of this stuff is going to be on the website. I am working at it. I'm a little bit slower than what I'd like to be, but it's getting there. It really is getting there. Hopefully each day you'll see a little bit more on the website that you're going to be able to purchase. So in this little tin, it's a Firefly tin, and you've got some stitch markers, magnetic piece to hold your needle, and a little progress keeper. That's also from Firefly Stitch. Firefly, what is the name of the code? Firefly Notes. That's what it is. Firefly Notes. So here's my mini skeins. Still not overly filled on those, but look at this. Here are an advent calendar. And this particular advent calendar by Firefly Notes for Christmas comes with a tin, and it's all stitch markers. It's not wool. It is stitch marker advent calendar. I am going to get a new Koigu shipment coming. And if you're looking up here into this beautiful area of the wall, very shortly, Northern Pearl is going to supply me with some fantastic sock yarn. I should have that by next week. I'm starting to go around the store and create little baskets that give you a free pattern, and one of those balls will make the particular pattern. So in this case, you'll see you've got some Aran wool, we've got the vintage wool, we've got comfort yarn, and all of these will make that toque. So here we have, you can see the wool-free sock yarn. All of my other, now this is the nice thing, is Barocco just had a shipment in, and this particular shelf is mostly the new sock yarn that I have in. But there is the sock yarn shelf. It's wonderful. And for Christmas, I have trying to bring in kits, made in Canada kits. And these particular kits that I have brought in actually come from Toronto. And the company is called Cree. And what they are is actually macrame ornaments. This is a macrame coaster. We've got snowflake. One of those big boxes will make one coaster. Same with the feathers. There's the angel. And there's a cinnamon. It has a cinnamon stick. So I thought that would be really, really cool. I've brought in flatter, which is a wonderful non-starch type of spray. Quilters are loving it. We use it on our knitwear, takes some of the wrinkles out, refreshes some of the fabric smells. I brought this in as a test. This is a project bag. I love it. I sit it by my chair at home, holds my wool. It's just a project basket. And then it's got a wee mini, doesn't match, but it's got a wee mini that you can put your little tools in. So that's kind of what's different in the store. And then just taking a little tour again, here we have some kits. Down on the very bottom shelf, we have spinning fiber. And in January, we're going to have a spinning day, just a day of interest. This is all of our vintage. I do have an order of vintage supposed to be coming within the next little while. And so what I'm really happy about is our acrylic section, our comfort yarn. It actually is stocked very nicely now. It's acrylic and nylon. Wonderful for all sorts of projects. And now there's even some printed stuff. They're bringing in some printed, so they call it comfort print. So it will knit up in a pattern type thing, kind of like the socks do. And what's very interesting here is a couple days ago, I had hardly any dishcloth yarn left. Now I'm full. So if you're needing to make some more dishcloths, I've got dishcloth yarn. We love the suds, I'll tell you. That yarn is just fantastic to work with. And of course, the scrubbing portion of that, you can knit that with your dishcloth yarn. So let's just roam me on over here. This is my new soak section. I have some beautiful bags, generous sized bags. I know this podcast is going to be a little bit weird because I'm so close with the camera, but I'll get the hang of it, guys. I have some hand creams up there with the same smells of the soap itself, but I have the tester bottles. I have a nice stock of soap here. And for those that are needing, some different Christmas type presents or something different to do, we have a few cross-stitch owl and a cross-stitch penguin kit to do. But then we have from Nova Scotia Hook, Line and Tinker products. And it is just a nice embroidery set, something to sit in your chair with at night, just under the light, and do a little bit of stitching. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And for those that don't really ever come into the store, here's our winding station. And downtown New Lisker. Yes, the balloons are still hanging around from podcast 100. We have a beautiful supply here of alpaca and wool. The Remix Chunky is right over here. Nice product to work with, I'll tell you. And the beautiful balls of Wizard. Just sitting on the shelf, waiting for somebody to pick them up. We have a few Gnome Kits hanging around. Even though it's not for that particular gnome anymore, which is this little fella here, you can still pick those up and do the noon knit along for the gnome project with, I can't remember the name of the company, sorry. So we have some felting kits. Gnomes is just a huge thing here. But felting kits, those that like to do that sort of thing. We still have this recycled bottles. in beautiful colors and some with speckles, but that's what it's made out of, recycled bottles. It's a chunky type yarn. Couples of packs of woobles left. Some beautiful yarn bowls. And you can see a couple of crochet kits in there. And what's really exciting is we are going to get into making our own crochet kits. So the store is pretty full. It's nice to come in and just browse around, take a look. As I said, I'm trying to create some kits. Trying to bring in a few books. Can't do a ton of it, but I can do some of it. So I'm hoping that it intrigues people and people enjoy coming in to take a look. Take a look at that blanket. That's the blanket that Bea made out of that wizard wool over there on the wall underneath the Gnome Kits. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Well, I hope you enjoyed podcast 101, my very first podcast. I know I'll get better at it, but I'll tell you what, we'll see you really, really soon. Bye-bye.